What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Danny the Bull, and I'm back with another video for my OMI homies. So we are in the middle of a brutal bear market, and it is not over yet. There is still likely more downside to come as we figure out what the full effects of the FTX collapse are and figure out what all the contagion effects are. On top of that, there's also the macro stuff going on. Inflation, although the last CPI reading came down a little bit, inflation is still high. The Fed is still raising rates. There is still a war going on in Ukraine, and we still haven't realized the full effects of this recession. So there's a lot of bad stuff still going on. We're likely to get lower, but I do believe that people who accumulate during this bear market will do really well come next cycle, and this is when the money and the wealth is created. Now, I do believe that more than 90% of crypto projects will die off, right? They're not worth touching. I only invest in a handful of them. One of them is the OMI token. In this video, I'm going to break down why I am still bullish on OMI, why I have no fear that they will do well in the next cycle, all right, and where I think this is all going. So stick around. There is a lot to talk about. If you like this sort of content, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is linked down below. So if you've been following the price action on the OMI token, you'll know that yesterday we were at 0.00072, right? There was a big sell wall up all week. Someone who listed 2 billion OMI tokens for sale drove the price all the way down to 0.0007. And then yesterday, someone ate the sell wall. Someone put in an order, a $1.4 million buy order on the OMI token. So if you look at this spike right here, all right, this is the result of a massive buy order from someone, all right, who bought over 1 billion OMI tokens. Since then, we came down a bit to 0.0008, but have recovered since, and now almost back to that 0.0009 mark, 0009. So really crazy price action, 25% up in 24 hours. That's a crazy gain in a short amount of time. And I didn't really think we'd ever get to these levels. I didn't think we'd see 000 again during this cycle. But again, I didn't think that FTX would collapse. All right, so there is likely to be more pain in the overall market. We could see this drop again to that 0.0007 mark and even lower. There's really no support below. The only support below 0.007 is 0.0025, which is super low. Now, I don't expect it to get that low. Is it possible? Anything is possible. I would think that new support would be formed somewhere, maybe at the 0.005, 0.006 mark. Regardless, I'm trying to buy as much as I can at these levels. I bought pretty hard at 0.007. I'll wait to see what the price action does from here, but I am still looking to accumulate. And in a minute, I'll explain why I'm accumulating OMI. This is the only small cap token that I would touch during this macro environment, all right? But before that, I just do want to make it very clear that I am very aware that the price could go lower. All right, I don't try to time bottoms. My style has always been to DCA and, go hard on major dips. It's important to remember that during the 2008 collapse, when the stock market crashed in 2008, after Lehman Brothers went down, right, which is like their FTX, right, the major institution that went down during 2008 financial crisis, the S&P 500 took 6 months to bottom from the time of the Lehman Brothers collapse. So FTX collapsed a week or two ago. We may not see the full ramifications of that collapse for another 6 months. All right, so we might not get a true bottom for Bitcoin and the whole asset class for quite some time. All right, but it's truly impossible to time bottoms. And for me, I would personally rather just DCA and try to accumulate along the way. So why am I still accumulating OMI? It's because the risk reward ratio is so great to me. And the first question that you should ask yourself when you're buying anything during a bear market, when you're buying an altcoin during crypto winter is, will this project survive? Do they have enough financial runway to survive into the next bull cycle? All right, and for the OMI token, the answer is an easy yes, and that's because Vivi has been so successful. Vivi is not going anywhere, and in fact, we can quantify their success, right? It's really hard to look at any small cap and quantify how successful they are, right? And to value them. We can value Vivi and the OMI token because the data and the revenue is transparent. Here's a look at the gem purchases in Vivi month over month so we can see how much revenue they've generated over the last 2 years. Now, this data was pulled from Puddin' Cheeks spreadsheet. Shout out to Puddin' Cheeks for his work on a daily basis. But it allows us to quantify and keep an eye on how strong and how well Vivi is doing. So back in the early days, December 2020, January 2021, they were doing about $25,000 a month in revenue, right? Which is really nothing. February 2021, they really started to take off, almost hitting $1 million for the month. And then in March of 2021, they broke $2 million in monthly revenue. They quadrupled the next month, April 2021, to over $8 million. Then in August of 21, they broke $12 million. September, $19 million. October, $25 million. And then November of 2021, that's when Golden Moments came out and the Disney partnership was announced. They hit $57 million in monthly revenue. And over the course of the next 4 months, they really went on quite a run, right? 36 million, $62 million in January. That was the peak of the market. Right, they did $62 million in 1 month, followed by 2 more months in the $30 million range. Now, keep in mind that there was a gem exploit somewhere in here. I think it was in March. So some of these were, dirty or fake gem purchases. I'm not sure exactly what the numbers are, but it definitely did inflate some of this. Since then, the whole market has cooled off. The whole NFT space has cooled off. They dropped to about $14 million. They did $8 million in June, rebounded with $14 million in July. And now over the last few months, they've been in the $6 to $9 million range. This month's data is incomplete. They'll likely do about $5 or $6 million. So they've cooled off quite a bit. We know this. It's to be expected. The whole NFT space has cooled off. Most projects have died off. All right. So even though Vivi is not doing their 30 or 40 or 50 million in monthly revenue, they're not doing bad at $6-7 million in revenue. That still annualizes out to almost $100 million. All right. And that's in, the dredges of a bear market. And if we look at their total revenue, we'll see that it's almost $400 million that they've generated in just about 2 years. This is missing 1 month of data. All right, May of 2021 is missing. So approximately, $385 million in revenue they've done in about 2 years. Here's a visual of it in the form of a chart. Will we return to these levels of success where they're generating $40 million a month? I think it's quite possible once the macro environment shifts, once people have more discretionary money to spend, once the Viviverse is out and more people get onboarded to digital collectibles, once there's new IP and new verticals like sports, music, cards, and also, let's not forget, localization and expanding into Asia, I do think that it's quite possible that Vivi gets back to these levels. So VeVe is going to survive the bear market. OMI is going to survive the bear market. And all of the catalysts that we were waiting for last bull run that drove the token to 0.008, all of those catalysts are still in front of us. You know, the exchanges, the VeVe-verse, we've seen it now. We know that it's real. It's coming out next year. OMI utility is coming next year. We now have a clear definition of what that's going to look like. OMI is going to become a deflationary asset next year. And so all of those things that we were waiting for, they're coming to fruition in 2023. So not only will OMI survive the bear market, but it's going to have much stronger fundamentals next cycle, and it's going to have that, you know, designation of a metaverse token, all right, that's going to attract a lot of money towards it. So super bullish long term. So just by virtue of surviving this bear market and with the catalyst that we still have coming along the way, I think that a return to last cycle's high is a given, right? I think that's a very achievable goal, that we get back to 0.0082 or whatever it was. And that from these levels is a 10x return, right? It cost about $8,200 to buy 1 million OMI during the bull run, during the height of the bull run. All right, that same 1 million OMI now costs you $860, right? You could buy 2 million OMI with $1,700. And at the height of last cycle, that was worth $16,000. And if you extrapolate out, if you go to 10 million OMI, right, you can buy 10 million OMI right now for $8,600. At the height of last cycle, that was worth $82,000. 15 million OMI would cost you $12,900 right now. That would have been worth $123,000 last cycle, and 20 million OMI is under $20,000, $17,000 at the height of last cycle. That's $164,000. And unless, you know, things go terribly wrong, unless there's some sort of black swan event with VeVe or with the OMI token, or if there's really bad regulation, or, you know, something really bad happens, you know, I think that 0.008 is very easily achievable once the markets recover, all right? So that's a 10x from where we're at. But as I've said in previous videos, I think that we will see new all-time highs for OMI. I think that 2 cents is pretty conservative, and, you know, 1 million OMI at 2 cents is $20,000. That's off of an $860 investment today. All right, 5 million OMI, which would cost you $4,000 today, would return you $100,000 at 2 cents. All right, 10 million OMI would give you back $200,000 at 2 cents, and 20 million OMI would return you $400,000. And then if this thing gets to 3 to 5 cents during the next cycle, and I think that 5 cents is achievable. I don't think it will be easy. I think a lot has to go right in terms of token burns, in terms of getting to a certain market cap. But 1 million OMI at 5 cents is $50,000. 5 million OMI, which is less than $5,000 right now, would be $250,000. And 10 million OMI would be $500,000. 20 million OMI, $17,000 today, would be $1 million at 5 cents. So for me, the risk reward of the OMI token is really attractive. They are a unique business in that, you know, they have 1 foot in the real world and 1 foot in the crypto world, right? So they have this app that's selling, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of digital collectibles, and that's backed by crypto, by the token. All right, there's really no other token in the space that's doing that. It's a very unique business model at the current time, and again, that allows us to quantify their success and track them over time. Now, OUP, we know the utility program is kicking off Q1 2023. I think that it makes sense that they'll start to get more exchanges and this listed on more exchanges around that time. We know that the VVverse is also kicking off Q1 2023. 2023 is looking to be a year of big catalysts for the OMI token, where a lot of the things that we've been waiting for should really start to pay off. Now, keep in mind that OUP is a living document, right? So they've designed various burning mechanisms for the OMI token, but this is going to grow, and I anticipate that they are going to find even more ways to burn the token from circulating supply, not the least of which will come in the form of VVverse utility, right? There's a whole plan for the OMI token in the VVverse, so we can expect a lot of burns to occur in 2023. Now, what if I'm wrong, right? I always leave the door open to being wrong on an investment because, like I said, there could be some sort of black swan event or something that we don't see coming our way. It could come in the form of really bad regulation. It could come in the form of a black swan event for the company itself. All right, I protect myself from that by diversifying a bit, buying some safer assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tesla. The OMI token is really my high risk, high reward play, and I don't necessarily, I don't really think of it as being super high risk, again, because we can quantify, their success. So my plan is to accumulate during this bear market, and then most importantly, come up with a plan for the bull cycle to realize gains, because you need a plan, right? You can't hold your bags all the way down. We know that crypto is prone to 90% drops. So if OMI goes to 2, 3, 4, 5 cents next cycle, all right, I will be looking to take some profits. The same way that I layer in, I'm going to layer out a portion of my bag. Now, there are people who say that, 5 cents is nothing. Look at Dogecoin. What if it goes to $60, $70 billion market cap? Anything can happen in crypto, obviously, but that's kind of like hoping that things go viral, or, hope is not a strategy. Hope is not an investment strategy. And so I try not to get lost in the sauce. I try to keep myself realistic and stick to fundamentals and where things could realistically go. For me, that's in that 3 to 5 cent range, maybe a little higher, right, depending on token burns and how things play out. But most importantly, I'm going to be looking to create a plan to realize some gains next cycle. So let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. Are you still accumulating? What's your long-term strategy? As always, I hope you all have a great weekend. Stay happy, stay healthy, and stay safe. I will see you in the next video.